Hello and welcome to From Digital to D&D, but this isn't just any episode. This is the first of a special series of episodes to celebrate Halloween. To get into the spirit of the spooky season, each week of October we'll see an episode be released, and each of them will have a horror theme to them. We've got a strong selection to kick us off, so without further ado, let's continue with the first spooky version of From Digital to D&D. In this series, a character from fiction is taken and given a usable stat block for you to use in your games of Dungeons & Dragons. For those of you unaware, each episode of this series will be broken down into the following sections. The character introduction, where I attempt to explain the background of the character. The feature breakdown, where I point out what aspects of the character I will be attempting to convert. The stat block, where the stat block is shown off and certain elements are discussed. And finally, the plot hooks, where I explain possible uses for the character in your games of D&D. Naturally, any character that features in this series belongs to their respective owners. The vast and complicated world of SCP enters the ring, starting off with one of the most popular and oldest SCPs known to us. Let us read through the documentation of SCP-106.
SCP-106 has broken out of the facility at Gate A.
SCP-106, also known as the Old Man, is one of the most dangerous anomalies contained by the SCP Foundation. For simplicity's sake, I'll just be referring to SCP-106 as 106 going forward. The Foundation is an organisation dedicated to finding and containing anything not normal and anomalous in nature with the purpose of protecting humanity from it. The SCPs themselves are designated and catalogued anomalies found by the Foundation, 106 being one of the more dangerous ones. 106 is a Keter class SCP, meaning it is extremely difficult to contain. It doesn't mean the SCP is dangerous, though in 106's case, it certainly is. 106 appears as an elderly humanoid that appears to be in the stages of advanced decomposition. It is not particularly agile and has been observed remaining motionless for days at a time. 106 is a predator, its prey being humans, with a preference for humans between 10 to 25 years of age. When attacking its prey, 106 will attempt to incapacitate the prey by damaging major organs, muscle groups or tendons. This is so it can drag them into its pocket dimension with ease. Little is known about the origin of 106, but one theory suggests that it was a soldier in World War I. They were exposed to some form of entropic force accumulated by the mass death in the trenches, which mutated them into the entity known as 106. There is no known evidence to back this theory up, however. 106 has broken its containment many times, and it always causes chaos. The only way to somewhat reliably recapture 106 is to feed into its predator's instincts, by letting it hear the screams of pure agony. The entity loves to play with its prey, not hunting for sustenance, which it doesn't need, but for the sick pleasure it gets from inflicting torment, its twisted laughter being the last thing anyone ever hears. 106 may appear as an old rotting man, but it is surprisingly strong, able to overpower trained soldiers and withstand gunfire. Enough damage can make 106 retreat, but only after excessive amounts of damage has been inflicted. Anything touched by 106 corrodes, breaking down after several seconds of contact. Flesh rots, metal rusts, all things decay before 106. It leaves behind a black, mucus-like substance similar to what coats 106, which is highly corrosive, able to remain dangerous for 6 hours before it wears off. The most dangerous aspect of 106 is its access to a pocket dimension. It can create portals to this dimension at any time, only requiring a surface large enough to sink into. The aftermaths of a portal leaves behind more of the corrosive mucus. It almost appears as if 106 vanishes inside the solid matter. It can exit its dimension at any time it chooses, from any point on a connected surface from the original entry point. For example, if it enters the inner wall of a room, it can exit from the outer wall. Though it may not be physically fast, this ability lets 106 outmaneuver its prey by reappearing ahead of it or simply moving through any barricades set up. The inside of 106's pocket dimension is not fully known, but reports suggest the entire realm is under the control of 106. It appears to be comprised mostly of tight hallways and rooms, though one report claimed it changed into the trenches of no man's land. Within this realm, 106 can inflict whatever sick tortures comes into its mind before it eventually inflicts a fatal wound upon its prey. The only known deterrent to 106 is incredibly bright light, sunlight making the entity withdraw for a time. Whilst it may not have as many abilities as other SCPs, 106 remains one of the Foundation's most tricky anomalies. I've been toying with putting an SCP into the series for a while now, but given the tricky nature, it may be somewhat limited, for now at least. 106 serves as a nice starting point, but others like 682 and 096 will get their turn eventually. You're welcome to look through 106's stat sheet at your own pace, but for now there are a few areas I want to highlight. Fighting 106 without proper equipment will be extremely difficult. That is because each time something non-magical comes into connection with 106, it corrodes. The only non-magical substance able to withstand this effect is adamantine, and whilst the sheet doesn't say it, I'd argue even adamantine would fall apart eventually under the constant exposure. Touching 106 deals damage as well, so melee is unwise. Whilst it may be slow and easier to hit, 106 can tank damage and heal over time. And even if you knock it to zero, it will simply return to its pocket dimension before becoming active again. Without magic, the only surefire way to counter 106 is sunlight, as it is forced to flee from it. As for its offensive capabilities, 106's main attack hurts, but its true power is personal hell. If it successfully drags an incapacitated creature into its pocket dimension, it suffers terrible effects. Said effects are listed in the Dimensional Torture Table, which kicks in every time a creature starts its turn in the pocket dimension. The land can shift into a battlefield, become nothing but barbed wire, scream with the howls of torment, and even become a cruel maze with a low chance of escape. It's key to escape this dimension as soon as possible. 106 may not have the great firepower of a dragon or the spells of a lich, but it is still capable of being a great threat to the party. Most SCPs are difficult to fit into D&D, but it isn't impossible. 106 best serves as an antagonistic force, either as the threat which appears just once, or as the primary focus of the campaign. Let's go with the most obvious use of 106. A containment breach. The SCP Foundation is no stranger to dimensional hopping entities, and through the mishaps of their studying gained access to your setting. They can just be from your setting, of course. Let's say that they're not, and the SCP Foundation, and by extension all the SCPs they have, are outsiders. They may deem your setting as another SCP, as it doesn't align with their own world, and during a containment breach, 106 slipped into your setting. The party could hear tales of new monsters never seen before, who are soon followed by a force of humans clad in strange armour and riding metal chariots with no horses. 106 would likely love to escape into a D&D setting, as it is rife with people to hunt. It may stick to humans or dabble with the other humanoid races, savouring the new terror it can see. Since other monsters exist in D&D, it may seek to find a location where it can await people to come passing by, lurking in a random dungeon. Imagine the party reach a dungeon and find the area rife with decay that only grows worse and worse as they step closer into the darkness. 106 is patient. It will wait for days on end. And when hunting its prey, it will not stop. Your best hope then is to run so far it loses track of you. Looping back to the idea of a Foundation incursion, perhaps the party are enlisted by the Foundation to help recapture the anomalies loose in the world, 106 being a high priority. The party can start the campaign with weaker SCPs, but by the end they are contending with powerhouses and reality warpers. Tracking 106 to an area may not be difficult, but drawing it out will not be easy. In SCP lore, the only thing 106 responds to is the cries of pure agony, typically achieved by breaking a poor person's femur. Subduing 106 isn't easy, as it can slip away at any time, so the party will have to lure it into an area it can't just teleport away from. The best way to show the terror that is 106 is to have the party witness it. By that I mean let them see an NPC suffer an attack by 106, or let them find documents explaining just what 106 does to its victims. It may be unpleasant, but lean into the horror that is SCP-106. But with that, we've reached the end of today's video. Before you head off, I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope you managed to get something out of this. The stat block for SCP-106 is available on D&D Beyond for free, and the link to it is in the description. I hope you all have a great day, and may your dice roll favourably. Goodbye for now.